download the WNN app on your Android or iPhone and never miss a Talk 1470 minute.
Live a more conscious life by joining other like-minded individuals and businesses, as together we create a more conscious community connection with Conscious Co-op South Florida. The Conscious Co-op meets monthly at the Boca Raton Wyndham Hotel with a catered gourmet vegan lunch by Farmer's Table. These meetings feature guided meditations and a wellness-minded speaker always dedicated to educating on a more conscious way of living. For more information, visit noahcrane.com. That's NOAHCRANE.com, or call 561-774-1991.
Hello everyone, my name is Noah Crane. Welcome to Create Your Greenest Grass. Connect with me each week to create a life you love. Now let's get started.
Hello and welcome to the show. My show, Create Your Greenest Grass, where we don't leave our life to chance, but rather create a life we love. My name is Noah Crane again, and I'm the author of the book, The Grass is Greenest Where I Am. My book will be released on September 13th, which I'm really excited about. And you'll get more information about it. You can always go to my website, noahcrane.com. That's NOAHCRANE.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a very special show for you and also a very special guest. Today's show I have my guest is Suzanne Gunderstein, who is a holistic mentor who uses energy tapping to help women process their stress and anxiety. Suzanne will teach us energy tapping to help us clear our minds from stress and build momentum to what it is we truly want in our lives. Thank you, Suzanne, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Noah. It's so great to be here. I'm excited to have this time with you today.
Me too. I've been really looking forward to it. Suzanne, let's start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself and about what you do.
Sure. So I'm Suzanne Gunderson. I live in South Florida in Delray Beach. I'm a holistic mentor. I spent about 25 years in the corporate world and had a lot of stress and anxiety, not just from being in the corporate world, but also from kind of a dysfunctional upbringing with some early developmental trauma and just, a stressful household. That by the time I graduated college, I was, several hundred pounds and using, upward of, 10 Xanax a day. And the corporate world didn't help that. And it really exacerbated my stress until I got to be in my early 30s and thought, I'm just not living with the quality of life that I really wanted to have for myself. So I left the Northeast from where I was from, moved to South Florida, and started to look into some alternative tools to really help me to get off of that medication and really kind of be able to live life with aliveness. And I found some incredible modalities like hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, energy medicine, energy tapping, nervous system regulation therapy, sound healing, amongst a lot of other types of research that I did with just other really great leading holistic alternative people out there. And with all of that, I was able to transform my own life and drop hundreds of pounds and get off all my anxiety medication, which I've been for about 9 years now. And I created my business, Transformed Connections, as a way to kind of continue to keep that language fluid in my life. Because it's like when you learn a new language, you want someone to practice it with. And so I did this as a small business now for about 10 years. And then I left my corporate job about 2 years ago to go and do this full time. So I primarily work with women who have stress, anxiety, body tension, trauma, whether it's early developmental trauma, relationship trauma. I help them really connect more genuinely and deeply to themselves through energy tapping so that they can begin to live life with aliveness and feel those connections that they all crave.
That's beautiful. And I'm sure everybody watching can really relate to what you're saying because so many of us have been on this journey of having a childhood that has not been the best. I mean, not all of us grew up in like the perfect home, and I don't think there is a perfect home. Everybody,
I don't think so.
yeah. I mean, maybe better than what you grew up in, but I mean, that's incredible that you were able to overcome all these obstacles and be such a light for other people. That's an amazing accomplishment. Very inspiring. I didn't even know that about you.
Oh,
So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Suzanne, what is tapping?
So tapping, so excited to talk to you about tapping. It's an acupressure technique where you use your fingers to engage the body's energy meridian system to be able to promote circulation of the energy body. So really, if you think of your body as an energy vessel, we've got these rivers of energy that flow from our head to our toes. And those are called meridians. They run through the organs of the body. And what we're doing when we're thinking of a distressing thought, that thought is communicated to the body using the energy system of the body. And then the body produces the sensation or the vibration or the feeling that we have when we think that thought. So what we're doing when we're tapping is we're disrupting the connection between the mind-body. We're sending a different message to the body than the one that it normally is feeling. So if you think a distressing thought, that thought's communicated to the body. We tap at the same time, and what we're doing is we're shifting how we feel and experiencing our thought. Because what we're doing is we're sending a calming signal to this fire alarm part of our brain called the amygdala that is kind of hyper-vigilant to life. And life is just so stressful these days. I mean, we're just going 5,000 miles an hour. It's not slowing down. And we have to learn to kind of have a strategy and a toolkit to keep us, you know, balanced and moving forward in integrated mind and body. And tapping is a really great tool that can help us, you know, not only clear the things that we may get tripped up on and get stuck on, but then also open the pathways to where it is that we want to go. Especially, you know, getting over our stress and struggle and being able to be kind of a deliberate creator in the direction of life that you want to take yourself.
So would you say tapping is like a distraction?
Well, it's both. What we're
Okay.
doing is we're tapping on certain energy points of the body,
Right.
which are real meridians of the body. And with that, we're poking the energy system to say, hey, keep it moving. Don't get stuck there.
So it's kind of keeping the flow of the
Yes.
energy moving. So
Yes.
you're not. So if you're so when you're stuck, your energy, your flow is stuck.
Yes.
And so when you're tapping, you're getting back to your flow.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
amazing. I love it.
You
That's
promote
awesome.
that circulation of the
Yeah.
energy body, and then you're no longer stuck in that place.
Right.
But what it's doing to that thought that you're thinking is it will help shift it, and you'll have a broader perspective about what you're thinking about. So you won't be focused on that exact thing that's creating your stress and struggle. You'll have a broader perception about it. It won't feel the same. You'll experience it differently in the body, and that's because the energy behind it is now flowing. It's not
love
stuck
it.
chi.
I'm all about the flow. I love flow. And it also sounds to me, Suzanne,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, that when we're stuck, we're also in our heads, right? Because I always say when we're in our heads, it's like being in a bad neighborhood because we're like telling that story over and over again to ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think when we get, what I noticed for myself lately is when I'm able to get out of my head, move the energy more to here, to my heart, that's where I flow more. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that in the evolution of our thinking mind, the mind has just gotten so disconnected from the body because it thinks it knows the answers to everything.
Right.
And it's just going a lot faster than the body can go. And the body is what's here on this planet. It's what's grounded here by gravity to this earth. And yet the mind can take us 5,000 years ahead
Yeah.
or 5,000 years in the past.
Yes.
And yet the body's kind of sitting here keeping score like, hey, how's that anxiety going? How's that depression going? How's that stress going? How's that pain in your body going? How's that acute stress going in your body? Can you come back? Can you come back? So I think so much of what we're learning now is that we need to say, okay, mind, thank you so much for taking me to all these wonderful thoughts and places. But now I've got to get back to basics, come back to my body, and really walk integrated mind and body into my future. Because if I'm
Love that.
disconnected, then there's a gap that I'm trying to cope with.
I love that. And I'm taking a mindfulness course right now of Shirley Gilad, which is amazing. And we're learning that how delusional our minds can be.
Yeah.
So when it takes us places, it's part of the delusion of, like you said, that we have to bring ourselves back to reality and what is in the moment, and then rechange the pattern or rechange. It seems like that tapping kind of changes the pattern of where we're at.
Absolutely. You can shift you can change thoughts, beliefs, limiting beliefs, programs, patterns, blockages, anything that's in the way, anything that's creating your stress and struggle, or really, frankly, is in the way of what it is that you want to have in your life. If you keep tripping over the same type of
Yeah.
relationship, the same type of situation, the same boss, the same situation with your kids, the same situations with your best friends and your family. You can address that with tapping to help circulate that energy, restore the circulation and the balance in the body's energy system, broaden the perception about things, and be able to shift some of that stuff and clear it.
That's amazing. I'm very excited about that. I need to learn this. What is the history of tapping for those of us who really don't know where tapping came from, and how long has it been around?
So, great question. Tapping has been around for about 50 years, and it originated with a gentleman by the name of Roger Callahan. He created something called thought field therapy. And what he did was he noticed that if you engage the meridians with your fingers and just tapping on certain energy points, that you could you could circulate the energy body. So he came up with like an encyclopedia of protocols, everything from, a heartburn to, broken fingernail to a headache, and certain tapping points in a specific protocol that you would have to do. And he had many people that studied under him, including Gary Craig. And Gary is the one that really popularized EFT, emotional freedom technique, back in the early 70s. And Gary really opened the door for kind of the healing high rise, as he called it, to begin. And he had several people that studied under him as kind of master tapping practitioners. And they've continued to evolve tapping. So I think a lot of people that hear about tapping, they know the term EFT, emotional freedom techniques, that's familiar to them. But people have taken it in many different directions. There's been Tappis Fleming that came up with Tappis tapping. There's Robert Smith that came up with Eutaptics and faster EFT. And I think most modern popularized right now is Nick Ortner. He has the tapping solution. I think he had a #1 bestseller on the New York Times, which has really popularized it for people to have it be accessible to them. So I think people know him and have as that kind of as a more mainstream identity around tapping, which is great because tapping has always been something that you hear about happening in Australia or in Europe. It hasn't been something that's been so accessible in the United States. But I think now what Nick has helped do is kind of bring that into the United States in a real easy way in school systems with people who have chronic stress, people who have anxiety, and helping them kind of overcome that in a really easy, digestible way. So, yeah, it's been around 50 years. It's definitely taken its evolution, and it continues to evolve as we learn more about modern psychology and neurobiology and how the mind and the body are really connected through the nervous system and self-regulation, all these kinds of terms that are out there right now, which are so important. We're going to see tapping continue to evolve.
Yes, I definitely see that's coming, and keep going with that, because to me, with our stressful lives today, we need a way to come back to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems like a way that will get us more connected to ourselves, and we really need that. Everybody needs that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to go back to what you were saying earlier about how our minds are just, creating these delusions about things. I mean, depends on how much time we have to talk today.
Yes.
But, I really could get into a lot of, for just 100 years ago, we spent most of the day looking for food. We don't have to do that anymore.
Right,
It's on every
Not
corner.
at all, yeah.
Right? And so our thinking minds have really developed so far away from what we had to do to survive into what do we want to do to survive, because we have choice and options now that we didn't have. And a lot of the delusional thinking comes from how we have been conditioned in the past, and frankly, suppressing our authentic self for the rules and the institutions and the structure that was needed in order to keep everybody safe and not with anarchy.
Right.
And I think we're all kind of waking up to those delusions now, even the ones that we've created for ourselves, to be able to say, how do we really want it? What really is going to work for us, for who we are in this point in time of our life and where we need to go? And we need to have real strategies, not just coping mechanisms. And this is where tapping is, yes, it's an acupressure technique, and yes, there's a protocol of how to kind of tap on certain points and maybe even what to say. But it's a real natural, holistic technique that's free to use. It's you doing this to your own body to help you overcome some of those conditionings and some of those delusional thoughts and those limiting thoughts that you may have, to really getting on with, how it is that you want to live in this life.
I love that. That's great. Why should I tap?
So for all the reasons we've been talking
For
about,
stress, for my stress,
it can
yes.
help anybody that has, stress, anxiety, physical pain, emotional pain. It even helps kids. I mean, I think it's great to work with kids today, they have so much stress. I mean, they have got expectations put on them to have so much done and be ready to go to college, and the tests that they have to take, and then the social pressures that they have, and even with bullying that happens in schools, and then just the threat of violence in schools today that we just didn't have, 30, 40 years ago, even longer than that. So it definitely can help kids, but it helps, men, women, families, whether it's, you're looking to better yourself with personal wellness, or if you suffer from like an acute chronic disease, or you've got some specific pain in the body, tapping can help kind of lessen those symptoms as it takes the charge off of that intense energy behind what you're experiencing, and then helps you kind of get back and get integrated into the body, out of the head, back into the body, being more integrated with the two. So really, whatever your stress or struggle is, it's really good for everybody. It really just depends on if it's the technique for you.
Right.
There's so many different modalities out there. It's just which one works for you. This one worked for me, and I love it. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay too, but find one that works for you and then practice the hell out of it. We really need to have something in our life beyond just the coping strategies of my daily wine or my medication, or, whatever it is that we're using as our crutch to kind of just make it to the next day. We need something to help us thrive.
Yes, absolutely. We can all use that. Can you teach us how to tap?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm excited.
So first, I'm going to share with you where the tapping points are.
Okay.
So if you just take your index finger and your middle finger on either hand, it doesn't matter. We're going to use those two fingers to tap.
Okay.
So the first point is if you grew your eyebrows together at the top of your nose, that's the first point. It's the bladder meridian. So just take your two fingers and get a nice bounce on that bladder meridian there. That bladder meridian represents emotional trauma. And then if you took your eyebrow and grew it all the way to the side of the eye, and you took your two fingers and just tapped on that side of the eye, this is the gallbladder meridian. It represents anger. And then if you took your eyebrow and grew it all the way under the bottom of your eye, all the way around from the side to the bottom, then took your two fingers and tapped under your eye. This is the bladder meridian. It represents anxiety. And then if you just take all four fingers on one hand and just get a good bounce on your collarbones, like where your necklace would kind of fall. If you were wearing a necklace, just where your collarbones would meet, just get all four fingers going with a nice little bounce there. And some of these points might be sensitive, they might be sore, and that's totally normal. It's okay. So those are the points that we're going to use. So if I say between the eyes, I'm talking about that point where you grow your eyebrows together. Side of the eye is the one where your eyebrows next to your eye. Under the eye, and then your collarbones. And then the last one is to just grab your wrist and squeeze it around a couple of times. So those are the tapping points we're going to use today. And I do want to just put a disclaimer out there that if you're listening and you say, hey, wait a minute, there's a point that's under your nose or on your chin or on the top of your head or under your arm, there are hundreds of meridian points on the body. And all of them are valid. But for the ones that I use, the ones are the big, powerful ones, I just use, between the eye, side of the eye, under the eye, collarbone, and wrist. And if you use other points, you're welcome to do that too. But these are the ones that we're going to use today.
Awesome. And how long do you tap for usually when you're stressed?
Well, that's a good question. And the guru that I studied under says that, either you pass until you feel better, or until you tap until you feel better, or until you pass out, whichever one comes first.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you have to tap long enough. So what I want you to do is think about something that maybe stresses you out, and just notice how you know that it stresses you out. Do you watch a little movie in your mind about it? Do you see pictures, slideshows? Maybe you hear some voices. Maybe it's your voice, someone else's voice. Do you feel some sensations in the body? Just notice how you know this stresses you out. I'm sitting across from you, and all I'm doing is saying the word stress, and I notice your body language kind of sinks in. You start breathing a little bit more shallow. Maybe it's some tension in your body.
Yes, for
And then
sure.
there's a movie line going on that I'm not privy to. It's going on in your head, but it's stressful to you. So when we're tapping, we want to find something that's higher than a level 6, meaning that if this stressful memory is doesn't really bother you, it would be a 0. If it really bothers you, it would be a 10. So we want to find something that's at least a 6 or higher.
Okay.
So find something that's a little bit 6 or higher, and then just focus on the worst part of that stressful thing, whether it's a snapshot of that movie that you're watching or if it's a voice. Just aim in on that specific reference, and then just tell me if you've got something higher than a 6.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. So if you're there, then I just want you to tap between your eyes and just say out loud and repeat after me, all of this stress.
All of this stress.
I have a lot of stress.
I have a lot of stress.
I can see it.
I can see it.
I can hear it.
I can hear it.
And I can feel it.
And I can feel it.
And tap on the side of the eye and say, all this stress.
All this stress.
It's real to me.
It's real to me.
I'm experiencing it right now.
I'm experiencing it right now.
It's really stressful.
It's really stressful.
Tap under your eye and say, all this stress.
All this stress.
I clear it out.
I clear it out.
From every cell of my body.
From every cell of my body.
I clear it back through the past.
I clear it back from the past.
Through my childhood.
Through my childhood.
Forgiving everyone that was involved.
Forgiving everyone that was involved.
Especially myself.
Especially myself.
This stress.
This stress.
I just let it go.
Let it go.
And then just tap on your collarbones. This stress.
This stress.
Clearing it out.
Clearing it out.
From wherever it came from.
Wherever it came from.
I just let it go.
I just let it go.
And then grab your wrist and squeeze it around a couple times. Take a nice breath. Blow it out. Say the word clear.
Clear.
Then I want you to go to a really great memory that you like. Like something that's just really easy. Maybe it's like the day one of your kids was born, or maybe it was a great beach day you had recently. Just go to that great memory. And how good can you feel there? Can you get a 10 level of feeling good there?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. So then just tap between your eyes and say, this is who I really am.
This is who I really am.
Naturally and easily.
Naturally and easily.
And tap on the side of the eye. This wonderful feeling.
This wonderful feeling.
It's inside of me.
It's inside of me.
And tap under the eye. I can have it anytime I want.
I can have it anytime I want.
It's all me.
It's all me.
It's inside of me.
It's inside of me.
And I create it.
And I create it.
Tap on your collarbone. This wonderful place.
This wonderful
It's
place.
all mine.
It's all mine.
And then grab your wrist, pulse it around a couple times, take a nice breath, blow it out, say clear.
Clear.
Now I want you to go back to that thing that was stressing you out before. And tell me, is it still higher than a 6, or what number is it?
It's low.
It's low?
It's low.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. It's really low.
That's awesome.
I'm feeling really happy right now.
Oh, that's great.
And I had a stressful day today, as you know. We talked about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just feeling really light.
Yeah,
I
right?
just feel like I was able to release some energy.
Right, you don't know that's the best part.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the mechanics, just feel better. That's the goal, right? We all
Right.
want to just have relief. So this is a really simple way to do that. So if there was anything left, if say you had something that was higher than a 6 and now you've tapped and we went to a good memory, but came back to the memory that was stressful and it was still 3, 4, 5, you could tap again
Until
and
you
just
get there.
keep going. So you asked before how long to tap. You tap as long as you need to get that to neutralize to 0 until you're feeling better. And, tapping is like peeling an onion. This is the first layer, and there might be something that comes up in an hour or two, but now you've got a technique to say, oh, here's my stress again. You can start tapping on the tapping
I love
points
that.
to keep it neutralized and discharge that energy and circulate that energy body. So if we sat here and did this for half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour, we really can make some big shifts. We only just tapped for maybe 90 seconds, and
Right.
look at how much better you
I
feel.
feel so much better. Seriously, this is amazing. I'm like really blown away. This is
Yeah.
the first time we've done this together.
That's true.
We met, but we
That's
never
true.
talked about really how to do the tappings.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Of course.
That was amazing. I really appreciate it. So please tell us, Suzanne, about yourself and how can people get a hold of you? How if people who want to tap or get in touch with you and with what you do, how do they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my business is Transformed Connections. So my website is transformedconnections.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram with the same name, Transformed Connections. I live here locally in South Florida, so I teach classes in Palm Beach County, Broward County, different places. I teach. I also take local private clients, as well as national clients. I do sessions over Skype, Zoom, the phone, in person, whatever anybody is really needing. I also do retreats once a month up in Cocoa Beach, Florida, where I take about 20 women for a real transformational weekend where we do tapping. I bring a vegan chef with me and a yoga instructor, and it's just a really wonderful place for women to just be totally vulnerable and be nurtured and supported through their transformation, because we're really living in just serious transformational times. So it's a great space for women to kind of come and kind of recharge clear out whatever's bothering them and recharge their batteries. So you can find me in South Florida or online.
That's great. And there's nothing like a 3-day retreat to recharge yourself. I think that those are the best vacations. You could just go, recharge, eat healthy, beautiful beach, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a long enough weekend where you feel like you've done something for yourself and gotten away, but you haven't needed to really get on a plane and go anywhere. You can just drive up the coast for a few hours. Although some people do come from all over the country, different parts of the different times of the year that I have these retreats. I get people that come from all over, but mostly the Florida community, especially in the later spring, summer months, where the Floridians really know about Florida in the summer being a hidden jewel at the beach.
Yes.
So.
When is your next retreat?
September 28th to the 30th. So if you're interested, go to my website, Transformed Connections. I have a whole retreat page. You can look up all the details of where the venue is located, what it looks like. There's tons of pictures from previous retreats that I've had up there. I also have a private Facebook group for women only called the Empowered Social Revolution, where I really help women with providing them strategies and support on helping them with their transformation. And it's really turned into a beautiful online community where there's women who are supporting other women through their transformation as well. And of course, I go on there with live videos for tapping to show them and keep them going with that, and help them really understand that they're not the only one going through what they're stressing about.
Suzanne, it's been such a pleasure to have you on my show. I really got to learn so much more about you and what you do, and I do realize, I'm grateful, that I connected with you, because you are such a light, and your struggles have made you into this beautiful, incredible light that I get to connect with, and other people out there get to connect with, because I believe we all need each other in this world. Nobody can do it alone.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I think women definitely help heal other women. And that's where, I'm a woman and I know my struggle was real. And so I want to help other women.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Especially we're coming into this whole, this rise of the feminine going on, the energy in the universe.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Until next time, please remember the mantra, the grass is greenest where I am. The grass is greenest where I am. Take care of yourself and your life. Nurture yourself. You're amazing. Love yourself. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Noah Crane. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember, the grass is greenest where you are. Tune in next week as we keep exploring and finding and recreating a life we love.